What's up guys, Mega Man here with some Kingdom Hearts 4 news. So Nomura had did an interview with Game Informer. If you want to check that out, that link to the article will be in the description. And he mentioned some stuff about Kingdom Hearts 4 here and there, so we're going to be talking about that right now. The first question up that I picked, it said this: did you expect characters from games like Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 358/2 Days to become so popular? Do you feel like their stories are complete, or can we expect more of these characters to pop up in Kingdom Hearts 4? He said that he didn't really think that the characters from these two titles would become so popular. He had thought players wanted to see more characters like Sora or Riku. It was kind of unexpected that the characters from these two titles were so well received. As far as including them or continuing their story in Kingdom Hearts 4, the story of Kingdom Hearts 4 is focused more on Sora's disappearance. Nomura is not quite sure if there will be room to explore the other characters' stories as much, but he's aware and the team is aware that these characters are very popular and people want to see more of them. So if possible, it would be great to include more of them or continue to share more of their story in future opportunities. That's pretty good to hear because some of these characters we do want to see more of, like Roxas, Axel, Terra, Aqua, and many more. So it'll be interesting to see them in future games. The next question is, Xehanort is such a memorable villain and now we're going into the Lost Master arc. How do you follow that up and create a fresh conflict with new adversaries? He went on to say, as mentioned, Xehanort is really a memorable character and it did take a lot of time to flesh out this enemy presence throughout the series. It all started in the original Kingdom Hearts where there's Ansem and Kingdom Hearts 2 with Xemnas. Basically, these two figures that stem from one person. In the first game, they explored just the heart portion. In the second game, they explored the physical body. It all led up to the full physical embodiment of the character. He really liked that they took this slow burn approach to build up the character. He felt the presence of the enemy character is so important for them to be a really good character. It gives the story a lot of depth and density, and he felt like they pulled that off. And now they're moving on to the next saga. In the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4, they mentioned the Lost Master arc. They're going to be delving into a new enemy figure for the continuation of the story. This new enemy has a lot to do with the masked characters that appeared at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. They're going to be obstacles that stand in front of Sora. Also in Kingdom Hearts 2.8, they showed what kind of characters they are, so the enemies have already appeared within the series. They'll be reintroducing them, and obviously there will be more new characters as well, but they really can't go into detail on those characters just yet. For those of you that have ever wondered if Sora will be the main protagonist throughout Kingdom Hearts, the question said, do you feel it's important to keep Sora as the main protagonist, or do you ever see the series moving beyond just him? The response was, as far as spin-offs go, they've had main characters that were not Sora, but in terms of mainline series, he thinks Sora is actually the only real candidate for the main character. He thinks if Sora is no longer the main character, then he would also feel like that would indicate the end of the numbered titles. He's that important to the series. Like many of us, we all wondered how much of the Disney worlds would be in Kingdom Hearts 4, and the question said, we saw Donald and Goofy in the Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal, but one question a lot of fans have is how much will Disney be integral into the series? The answer to that was, with regards to Kingdom Hearts 4, players are definitely going to see a few Disney worlds in there. He just want to mention that they don't need to worry so much about the aspect of the game. It might feel slightly different from the previous Kingdom Hearts titles, but once players have had a chance to play the game, he's sure that they'll be relieved to find that it's definitely a Kingdom Hearts title. It's the game series that they've come to know and love. As far as the graphic quality, since with each new title the specs have been really increasing and there's so much more that they can do in terms of graphics, it kinda limits the numbers of worlds that they can create in a sense. At this time they're considering how to approach that, but there will be Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4. That's good to hear. I like when they have the original worlds in Kingdom Hearts, but also, you know, the Disney worlds is what made it really pop out and just be different. So it's nice to hear that they'll be in there. In Kingdom Hearts 4 comes a new place called Quadratum. In the question it said, will we be spending a lot of time in Quadratum? Does having a more realistic setting give you bigger opportunities to try new things with the gameplay? He thinks it will be a pretty good amount of time since it is set as an initial base within the game. You spend time there and then you go to different worlds and then you go back there. Because the graphics are more realistic this time around, he feels like there's more of a realistic daily life aspect to Sora's life. You can see him go in and out of his room and spend time there. He feels like you'll get to see more of the day-to-day routines he goes through. As far as worlds go in the past, they featured a lot of Disney worlds, and among those, the most realistic one, probably Pirates of the Caribbean. This time around, they're spending some time in the actual real world. This was a challenge they had for themselves, just to see how realistic they can make this. And that's something that they're working on right now. For now, they can't really dive into any further details than that. Characters that fans have been missing, the Final Fantasy characters. From this question it says, fans have been very concerned about the lack of Final Fantasy characters in newer entries. Do you still want to dial down on the amount of them in the series, or is Kingdom Hearts 4 a chance to bring in more cameos? Nomura understands there weren't that many Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. One thing he wants to clear up is that a lot of fans are saying that Kingdom Hearts is this collaboration between Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters. But he really feels like that's not the basic concept of Kingdom Hearts. That's not exactly what Kingdom Hearts is. When they released the first title, they only had a few original Kingdom Hearts characters. When they were interacting with really well-known beloved Disney characters, it felt like nobody really knew these new characters, so it was harder for them to stand their ground just yet. And so they had a lot of Final Fantasy characters involved to lend a hand for everyone to get to know these original Kingdom Hearts characters better. I can see his point of view, these well-known characters helping the new characters, and then over time as these more new characters become established, people know more about them. Now, there are so many original characters from Kingdom Hearts that are so well loved, and people want to see more of those characters. With Kingdom Hearts 3, since they had so many original Kingdom Hearts characters, it was hard to find room for including more Final Fantasy characters. They are trying to find a good balance for that, and they know that some fans were concerned about that, and they weren't too happy and wanted to see more Final Fantasy characters. That's something that they're definitely thinking about, but just with the sheer number of original characters that they have now, it's hard to say what the exact balance is going to be and how it will play out in Kingdom Hearts 4. They can't really give a firm reply on it just yet. Either way, if they're in the series or not, it'll be interesting to see the new characters that they add into the series along the way. It was asked if he could give a tease for Kingdom Hearts 4. Unfortunately, there's not any new information that he's going to be able to share for a while, but if people could dive into the interview that they had today, it did reveal a little bit of new information and more details during that conversation. Moving along, he did say the easiest way to get more information and hints about Kingdom Hearts 4 will be first to play Missing Link. There will also be some more mysteries not related to Kingdom Hearts 4 specifically, but just throughout the series in it. Also, some figures that appear in Missing Link are tied to Kingdom Hearts 4. That was a cool interview. Didn't give too much or too little, just gave enough for people to think about and talk about. So we got some stuff to answer when it comes to Disney Worlds and Final Fantasy characters. But y'all let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think about this interview? Thank you all for watching this video. Here's some more Kingdom Hearts content. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for future gaming updates, and I'll see you all in the next video.